If you were even drawn to this video, then more than likely that's you, that you are able to pick up a lot from the environment. You're able to pick up on a lot of different energies, and the thoughts that you're having are just byproducts of other people's thoughts, other people's energy. And perhaps it could be what they're putting on you, you know? So that's my point, though, is that with your intuition is your soul's way of communicating to your conscious awareness the energy that it perceives. So that's pretty much what I was doing before this, on an Instagram story where I was speaking on something that someone posed a question, and from that question I was able to gather like intuitive information about what has been going on, perhaps in regards or in response to the perception of me. Okay, so if the question is posed that if it's coming from a place of ego or not, then that question right there is like a way to say that I'm not only is it a way to say that I'm not who I say that I am, but it's also a way to not take me off of this pedestal that you put me on, right? So like if you're like, well, you have to show that it's not coming from a place of ego. Why is it that I have to be put in a position to show that who I am is not coming from a place of ego as a way to prove that the things that I speak of is real and true? Why do I have to do that? Right? Like, you are the one who put me on a pedestal or placed these expectations on me that I'm not human. So it's a way to put me in a place again of people pleasing. That's all that is. It's a way to put you in a place of people pleasing again. And none of that makes sense, because you literally can't please people who are committed to misunderstanding you in the first place. Because if I have to go through leaps and bounds for you to understand me and for you to be like, is she that? You already are looking for a way to, like, which I've spoken about before anyway, is somewhere that you can also access and find. But it's like, okay, maybe that might be ego. Maybe that might be ego, but that's the thing. Like, you can completely operate from a place of your intuition and being healed and completely changing and transforming, right? Instead of trying to protect and keep yourself safe or fight, right? So it's like the things that happen in life and the things that come your way, if you sit with it, and if you really just question it and you think about it, then your intuition is letting you know, like, what's going on, why that came to you in the first place, like what's really going on surrounding that, like what's happening surrounding that. And the reason why that is so important is because that is your life. That relates to your life. That is your life. And you know more than anyone else where you are at in life and the situation that you are in life and where your life is going. You know that more than anyone else. And particularly at this time, I'm filming this in July. Particularly at this time, Saturn's retrograde. I believe Neptune is retrograde as well. The moon, I believe, is entering. I know Venus is entering Leo. I don't know where the moon is at right now, but particularly at this point in life, what I have been picking up is that it's all about your intuition right now. A lot of us in this age right now are embarking on spiritual journeys, entrepreneurship paths, which Entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey, right? So we are embarking on these entrepreneurship paths. We're in the age of Aquarius, and we're taking matters into our own hands because a lot of people are waking up to the fact of 9-to-5 jobs, or just jobs in general, the workforce in general, and everything that has been established and set up in this world that doesn't work out for us, right? That doesn't allow us to live a life that we truly came here to live, that we just know that we're destined for, right? So a lot of people are embarking on these entrepreneurship paths, and the reason why that's so important to note is because right now, what I've been feeling with everything just going on in the air, in the world, right, in the state of the world, because you have to understand, you fit into the world, right? You are a part of the world. So it's only right that you have an intuitive awareness about what's going on within the world and how you fit within that. But also, the way that you know how to maneuver about in the world is through your intuition, whether you know it or not, right? So anyway, the reason why that's so important to know about entrepreneurship is because right now, with everything going on in the world, because we're up against so many different energies, we're up against so many different perspectives and things like that. It is a time really to focus in on your intuition and on your own individual path. And for me personally, what has been the most challenging part is to really just focus on myself and focus on my intuition and allow that to guide me, and to make moves from my intuition, and to know that I'm being guided in that, and that I'm not just thinking anything, right? Because I talked before about self-validation, and self-validation is validating your own experience, your own existence, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own emotions. And if you are embarking on an entrepreneurship path, or being sovereign, or validating yourself, you have to trust your intuition. You have to trust that you're maneuvering through life from a place of truly being who you are and what you know to be true and what you feel, and validating that, and not waiting on anybody else to do that for you. Because the thing is as long as you continue to allow someone else to do that for you, to validate you for you before you can validate yourself, you will not make the moves that you need to make in order to live out here and embark on this journey and be successful in it. And I know that because I've done it so many times. I have denied my intuition. I have denied what I was being told, basically, right? What my soul knew to be true, right? The way that my soul was communicating to my conscious awareness, the energy that it perceived, right? So I denied it so many times. That's also where Saturn comes into play, right? Because Saturn is the ruler of responsibility and accountability, and pretty much shows you where you've been, right? All your choices and decisions, and how it's led you to where you are now, right? So to backtrack it, the reason why I'm speaking on this right now is because someone posed to me something about whether or not you're coming from a place of ego or you're coming from a place of who you truly are, which is your intuition, right? And which your intuition, I would also say, is your soul, right? It's your soul's communication, but it's your soul's backing and defense mechanism about your sense of self, right? So it's like your soul's way to endorse your sense of self. So who you know you are in relation to the world and in relation to the energies that you're perceiving, your intuition and the way that you make choices and move off of what you know to be true, what you know to be right for you and your life, that is endorsing who you are. That is your way of endorsement, right? Your sense of self's endorsement. Because also on this path, it does get a little difficult and scary because it really is just you and God and your intuition and your higher self, right? It's really just you. It's really just you. So you cannot afford to allow anything or anyone to take you out of what you know to be true and what your soul is letting you know about the energy that it's perceiving, right? And how you measure up against that and how you relate to that, right? So let's backtrack, right, to ego. So what I'd like to note about that is, okay, so we're gonna try it this way. We're gonna try it this way. So when it comes down to ego, okay, when it comes down to ego, what I want you to understand about ego is this. So ego would be, well, ego keeps you safe. So I would say your ego is like, your ego is you, like your ego is a part of you. We just call it the ego. We just call it something. We call it, we call the way that you have learned to protect yourself ego. We call it ego. But your ego is like, think of it like an aspect of yourself. Like your ego is, it's an aspect of you. Like it's just like a part of your, it's like now a part of your personality. That's what it is. Like it's now a part of your personality. So when it comes down to ego, your ego is meant to keep you safe. So that looks like you being in a situation that feels very familiar to things that you have been through already before in your life, and up against that, right? Like being in that situation, you hold back, right? Your truth, the things that you have to say, you hold back for fear of being judged or for fear of being misunderstood or not liked, or you respond with some type of anger. And not saying that anger necessarily always means that you're in your ego, and that anger is not always justified, but your reaction could be ego, right? Like you're okay to feel anger, but your reaction determines, whether or not you are coming from a place of intuition and you are coming from a place of having ascended, but you are angry and you are rightfully setting a boundary, or you're coming from a place of ego where you're trying to protect your heart, or you're trying to protect your inner child, or you're right, because let's say it's a situation that you're going through right now, present day, that feels like something that you've gone through in your childhood. And so right now, present day, right, your soul keeps record. Your soul's memory keeps record of everything that you've gone through, and the way that it knows how to keep you safe, right? Even your brain, your mind wants to keep you safe from being hurt. So, but operating from ego would look like I said, like closing off, or the reaction, right, in response to your anger or hurt or your pain, the reaction, because you're wanting to close off and keep yourself safe to not have to go through the same similar feelings that you felt before. So those are just a few examples, but your ego can show up in a lot of different ways. Pride, right, your reaction about it, how you choose to respond basically is the ego, and it's just keeping you safe. You think it's keeping you safe, but it's keeping you comfortable and it's keeping you familiar, and it's just an indicator of if you are, if you have grown from that thing or not. But what I'd like to note most importantly is what was posed to me was, am I coming from a place of ego in basically showing, right, like who I am, right? Like showing my real love and my real heart. Is it ego? If you're asking me if my love, right, my true heart is from a place of ego, or if you're posing that statement that perhaps someone may think or might think that my love is coming from a place of ego, then to me, what that is telling me is that you do not think, right, that you do not, which proves my point originally, which proves my original point, that you don't think that my love is a real thing to ever be experienced in life. So you are telling me that you, right? You are the one who's responsible for having that perception and perspective of life and of love. You're saying that you don't think my love, my unconditional love that I show, that genuinely, truly who I am as a person, the grace that I extend, the love that I show, the compassion that I have, everything about me and my heart that's shown, you don't believe that that's real. You don't believe that there's a way that that could be real. So it's like, well, perhaps, you may have to show that it's not coming from ego. And I just don't see how that could be coming from ego. If I'm showing love, like if I'm actually really showing love, how could that come from a place of ego? Because heads up, I haven't gotten any, and maybe this could be ego, I haven't gotten any monetary gain from the things that I've shared. I haven't gotten any monetary gain from the things that I've shared. So to me, that's like, if I were to pin it on somebody and be like, oh, they're in their ego and that's what it is. Or in order for someone to understand that they are who they are, they have to prove that it's not coming from a place of their ego. To me, it doesn't make sense. And we're just going in circles at this point because why would they put positivity into the world for nothing? You get what I'm saying? Like, not saying that they don't get anything back in return, but to be honest, I haven't received a lot of the same type of love that I give. I have not received that in return. Yet I've continued to show up as me. I've continued throughout whatever I've been through. I've continued to show up as who I am, genuinely. Truly, genuinely what I'm supposed to be and show in this world, in this lifetime. And the love that I give, I just have not been in positions in my life to have received that back. And that's just nothing to say about like, oh, well, maybe that's a determination of you and and that just doesn't fly. That just doesn't go at this point, which brings me to my point that, for one, the person who said what they said to me, that I'll show what I'm talking about, but the person that said what they said to me, I already clocked it when it happened. The fact that just shows where they are at in relation to believing in real love in this life, right? So that just shows that. And then it also proves things that I've said before, as far as hate is not conducive to anything on this planet. Hate is not practical. Hate does not make sense. And we can talk about how it just does not make sense. Hate does not make sense. Hate doesn't make sense. If someone is putting something on you, I mean, it's just going to show that that's who they are. It's just going to show that's who they are. And a lot of people will place things on you in a way that you take that as truth and you don't speak your truth, right? You take what they're putting on you as truth in hopes, because a lot of people will do that in hopes, right? They say things, it's to plant seeds of doubt, it's mental infiltration, plant seeds of fear, whatever you want to say. It's in hopes that you do not speak your truth, right? And who you truly are, and show what you truly are. Because I'm gonna say this, showing who you truly are will negate and deny and refute every single thing that they have tried to put on you. Showing who you are, exactly who you are, will completely banish, right? It will completely rebuke every single thing that they have tried to put on you. Okay, we're still going, and we just at 10 minutes. We're good. We're good. We're good. We are good. Brief little message here. This is where the sponsorship would go. Brief message here. Right now, we're just working with the ultimate divine sponsors. We are taking and accepting donations, but we're just working with the divine sponsors. So yeah, if you got anything from this, let me know in the best way that you can. Let me know. But right now, we're working with the divine sponsors. And what I'd like to say is believe in yourself and believe in your manifestation ability, and believe that the work that you have done and that the life that you want can truly happen. It can truly happen, which brings me back around to the entrepreneurship, right? Which brings me back around to that, which makes sense as to why we're talking about intuition, which makes sense about let your haters be your motivators. Let them fuel you into your purpose, right? Because being quite honest, I was a little scared about if I was doing the right thing, about if I was saying the right things, right? Because there's a few things I'm juggling that I want to say. And I want to make this most just cohesive as possible. Streamlined. So I have gone through so much with perfectionism, with not speaking my truth, with beating around the bush with the things that I really have to say, because of these things that have happened, because of people not wanting to see me and misunderstanding me, committing to misunderstanding who I am and not wanting to see me, and having been around the wrong people. But you have to literally trust that the work that you've done not only has gotten you to a place of growth and of wisdom, intuition, right? Ascension, right? And that's how you know that you are responding from a place of who you are and your growth, and not ego, which most often is linked to the past. Because when you're up against similar situations, it is about your reaction. Remember that, it's about your reaction. So you have to trust, though, that where you have gone, like where you've come from, and you have to trust that your dreams can truly happen. Because life's real, and the way that you feel about your life is very much real. The way that you feel about your life and where it's heading, and the dreams that you have and the visions that you have, it's so real. And the way that you can really judge that is, or gauge that, is the things that are really just happening in real time, you know? And like the strongholds that are being removed, and just the way life is shifting. Seriously, the way life is really shifting, like the way that these things are. There's been so many things that I've set up for myself in life to get me to this place, and everything's just working out, and I'm seeing it happen and play out. Everything's working out. It's incredible right now, which, you know, I'm just going to end it with and bring it back around. That's why, you know, I have been at the hands of people, friends, family, co-workers, I mean, coming from everywhere, left and right, who would prefer me to be stifled out of my light and out of my truth and out of what's true to me and out of the things that I want to say and the truth that I perceive, because my intuition is great. It's strong. It's remarkable. That's what's in the stars for me. That is literally my makeup, because that is what I'm supposed to do here. That aids in my purpose. That aids me in my purpose. My intuition damn near is like the vehicle. Damn near, I'm the vehicle, but my intuition is on the steering wheel. My intuition is the steering wheel to my car, right? Literally, how you are maneuvering through life, right? So, what I can show you and what I teach, what I show you is how to get acquainted with your intuition and what it is. And you have to understand what the intuition is to then understand how it works and how you can strengthen your intuition as well. So, yeah, everything just makes sense to me, at least. So, if this made sense to you, let me know. If it didn't, let me know. Where are some ways where I could get better in my explanation? Where are some things where you may have an opinion and you don't understand? Let me know. I want to talk about that. I honestly, I genuinely want to open up the conversation about your experiences in life, your own experiences with your intuition, if you are in tune with your intuition or not. So let me know about that. But just to conclude everything, though, is it just makes my point that the thoughts that you have, right, that typically are the negative thoughts, that are the ruminating thoughts, the anxious thoughts that come from, I'll say, that you have, that would prevent you from being who you are, that would prevent you from speaking your truth, that keeps you in this state of perfectionism, that keeps you in this state of fawning, not avoiding conflict, avoiding confrontation, not setting your boundaries, not speaking your truth for the fear of being disliked or judged or misunderstood or rejected, right? Which comes typically from childhood, which would put you in an ego response, which would make you feel like, because you've been at the hands of people. For me personally, I've been at the hands of people who would have preferred me to be out of my confidence and out of my light, have made me feel like I'm arrogant or I'm too much, or, right, my confidence is just too much. And I've learned to dim it to make other people comfortable. What I'm saying is, the point that I'm making is, the thoughts that you have that run through your mind as you're speaking your truth, as you are showing who you are, your authentic self, the thoughts that keep you from posting, the thoughts that keep you from showing who you are and taking up space. Most often, those are the thoughts that, by way of your intuition, which is, again, your soul's communication to your conscious awareness of the energy that it perceives, most often those are thoughts that are coming through from the air, right? Permeating through the air, coming from other people's energy. Most often than not. If you are still here, more than likely that is you, because I know that I speak to people who are like me. And my aim is to help you to awaken to maybe the things that you don't know about yourself, and to help you remember your truth and who you are, and help you to see that if you have gone through similar situations in your life like me, then that perhaps is probably why. If you were even drawn to this video, then more than likely that's you, that you are able to pick up a lot from the environment. You're able to pick up on a lot of different energies, and the thoughts that you're having are just byproducts of other people's thoughts, other people's energy. And perhaps it could be what they're putting on you, So that's my point, though, is that with your intuition. In my case, what I think about is the thoughts. Like, I'll give some examples of some thoughts. They're going to think I'm doing too much. They're going to think I'm just being negative. Because I speak a lot about the things that I perceive. I speak a lot about the things that I go through and have gone through with people. And I've gone through a lot of just manipulation and gaslighting and narcissists and things like that. So that's just my personal life path. So I speak a lot about what I've had to uncover about my life. And that's just, that's just what it is. We're going to get to a point one day to where we're out of this environment, to where mainly all I'm speaking about is love, about the new cherished experiences that I'm having with people, which I actually am a part of that right now. Like I actually have other connections in my life that are positive and that are better. But some of the other thoughts that come through are, like, they're going to think that it's always like they're going to think, right? They're going to think, or they're going to think that I'm being too loud, or they're going to think that I'm talking to myself. That's a big one. That's a big one for me, is they're going to be like, who's she talking to? Who's she always talking to? Right? And the thing is like, that is because, not saying not to take accountability for yourself. Definitely take accountability for yourself. Take accountability for the fact that you are like thinking what other people are going to think. So the accountability in that is, if you continue to not show up, ultimately that is on you. Ultimately that is on you, because you do have the responsibility to heal, right? You have the responsibility to heal and be self-aware from what is going on. Hence this video, right? You have the responsibility to be self-aware in that, and to still show up anyway, and to get through that, to push past that. But what I'm explaining is why it's happening. And more than likely it is because that stuff that has been put on you, like for me, has been put on me my entire life. So that's ego. That is ego trying to keep me safe. That's ego thinking of all the possibilities that could go wrong and trying to keep me safe and preventing myself from being seen as to who I am, because then that subjects me to criticism, right? So that's that. And those are the thoughts that go through. And so for me, it's like, if I'm thinking, they're like, who's she talking to? Because I have been at the expense of people who have wanted to, I guess, make me feel, or at least have done things, I guess, at attempts of making me feel like I'm crazy, or I'm not valid in what I feel, or I don't feel what I feel, and it's just wrong, right? That's gaslighting, like in a way to manipulate your reality, your reality as you know it to be true, based off your feeling, your rightful valid feelings. So I think that about wraps it up. For you to be able to get the point, to know between ego, right, and between intuition and everything like that. So we'll be having more on intuition. We'll be having more information coming. I really want to turn this into a class about intuition, because I have way more about this. But yeah, so let me know again how you receive this information, and if you liked it, and if you want more like this. And if so, make sure to turn on the notification bell for when I do post again. And then also make sure to like the video, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. Let me know you're a new subscriber. We're trying to grow this channel, so just let me know. And I'll make sure to get back to you. And then until next time.